recording this video. Um, Really been a struggle for me the last 3 weeks. I've, hinted at certain things here and there, but I do feel like I'm just at a point where my will is broken. Like I haven't had the desire to stay on it like I have the last 2 years, essentially. Um, it really is compounded by heavy stress at work the last 2 months. But really, this actually just dates back to that week between the 17th and Christmas, where I gained like 23, 24 pounds in 10 days. And I haven't consciously been thinking about it. Really, what's been bothering me the last couple months is not being able to get back down to 233. And there's been a lot of impatience on my part, just trying to get there as fast as possible. I didn't get to 233 in 2 weeks. I hit the 100-pound mark in late October, and I got to 233 December 17th. It was like 2 months. And I keep thinking I can ramp it up for like 2 weeks and get back there. And I've tried several times to do it just as fast as possible because in my mind, if I'm not below that, like I'm off this imaginary track that I'd be on had everything just gone perfect. And December 17th, I just kept, working at it and never missed a beat, never had a holiday, never missed a day of my routine. But it's been an ultra high stress period at work, compounded with the frustration of how difficult it's been to get back. I've said it several times. I really screwed up that week, but it's still bothering me now. Even now, I keep fixating on, all right, I got to get back into the 230s. Then when I get back into the 230s, I've got to get under 233, and I honestly just need to let that go. I've become so frustrated, and it's left me with so much regret. And when you couple in the level of stress I've had at work with the frustration I've had in fitness, like I haven't had a period like this since I started my channel. I've had a couple of days here and there, maybe a weekend where I lost discipline, but it's been 3 weeks that my discipline has just gotten tossed out the window. And I'm struggling to get it back. I keep lying to myself and eating junk and saying, okay, this is it. Once I have this meal, I'm gonna get right back on it. And it just keeps becoming tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. But I journal, and it helps me think through things. It helps me figure out why I'm doing I'm doing. And the reality is it's frustration that I'm not where I was, and focusing on, man, had I just not done that and kept going, I could be done right now. I was only 13 pounds from my goal, and trying to get back there as fast as possible in ways that are unsustainable for the long term. Um, I just need to get back to my routines. They work. I've got to make tweaks. Also, what's been frustrating for me is the 230s have been a very difficult hurdle for me to clear. I haven't had many times where I was able to weigh in the 230s, and even in consecutive weeks. It's been ultra difficult. And one of the things I'm just coming to the realization of is I have to further tweak my diet. Some of the times where I'll have one meal a day, I'll have a ribeye steak, I'll have a box of couscous, and I'll have either some spinach or some kale. Um, but even that, even if it's my only meal that day, I've got to eat leaner. Like I've got to cut the ribeyes. I've got to cut out the couscous, which I was always under the assumption it was a grain, but I discovered that it's actually a pasta. And I won't eat any other kind of pasta, but couscous is like I've got in my head, oh, it's healthy, and it's a grain, and it's not. It is a pasta, and I wouldn't dare eat spaghetti or ziti or something like that. But it's embedded in my head that couscous is this grain, and it's not. It's not like eating quinoa. It is not like that. Um, and so I've got to make further tweaks, but getting into the 230s has been a real struggle for me. It's been incredibly difficult, even with all the miles I've run, even with all the lifting I've done, the fasting. The foods I'm eating have to change. Like the ribeye has to change. I've got to reduce my portion size. Um, I don't really think I've eaten a ton of junk. I just think that the foods that I'm eating and my portion sizes need to change. And it's just like I heard someone say on one of the sports shows I watch, um, as simple as it sounds, nothing changes if nothing changes. Well, I've got to make some tweaks to my diet. Even with my old routine, which got me great results, it got me down 107 pounds at my most. Um, that 107, like once I got into 250, it's gotten incredibly difficult. I think I've gotten really good at the 240s, but the 230s is like really difficult for me. And so that just tells me, I mean, it all comes back to my diet. I ran over 1,000 miles last year, and how much more can I run? I'm not going to start running 150 miles a week like I'm a professional marathoner. It's all in my diet. There are people who can easily maintain their weight and don't even work out. So, this tells me it's all in my diet. And I've got to make further tweaks. I've got to lean out some of the things that I eat. I have to get rid of the couscous. I've got to get rid of the ribeye steaks. I honestly feel like I should get rid of red meat altogether. That's a problem. I have to admit that I have a diet soda addiction. And even though it says 0 calories, as I've read from the obesity code, it creates an insulin response. And what has also been evident is that when I drink diet soda, it makes me crave sugar. And previously, like prior to the last 3 weeks, I had been good about craving it. It would make me drink more of it. But the last 3 weeks, it's like I'll have a diet soda and then I'll go have a sugary food. Um, it leads to cravings. It makes me crave sugar. It makes me crave processed carbs. I've got to remove soda from my diet altogether. And it's something I don't like to say because once I say it, my wife, my friends, if they see me drinking soda, you're not supposed to do that. But the purpose of this channel is to create accountability for myself. And I've got to change the things that are imminently leading to me not being successful. And I can't continue to make the same mistakes and just think I can make up for it by running more or lifting more or fasting more. Like, I can't do that. I've got to make tweaks to my diet. I have to introduce fish to my diet again, which I was trying in 2020, but I honestly hate seafood. But I've got to replace the red meat with seafood. I've got to ruthlessly cut the processed carbs out of my diet and stop lying to myself and telling myself that eating couscous is similar to eating quinoa. It is not. It is a pasta, and it has to go. And I've got to pick up more knowledge. I've been procrastinating, and not because I'm fearful. It's really been busy, but I want to start talking to a licensed dietitian again. I was working with one prior to the pandemic, but honestly, the stuff she was telling me was just garbage. But just because one doesn't work out doesn't mean there aren't better ones. Like I found there's like a performance center where they work with athletes. They do all kinds of testing. Like they have the DEXA scan. They do VO2 max testing. They work with top athletes and they have licensed dietitians there. And I've been saying I'm going to call, and I haven't been scared to call. I honestly had just been incredibly busy and it keeps slipping my mind. but I need to put on my calendar to call them tomorrow. They open on Saturday, and I need to start working with a licensed dietitian and um, getting some guidance. I've got to get to the point where I can track my macros, my sugars, my sodium intake, and timing my food. Like I've got to get more organized instead of just thinking, okay, I'm only gonna have one meal a day, and the other days I'm gonna have two meals, and it's gonna keep my insulin lower, but I'm not tracking the details. Like I've got to get more detail oriented. This is incredibly difficult, and with all the effort I put in, it's leading to what's just happened, where I've just had a break in my will, and I'm just like, yeah, I can't do this. But it's because I keep trying to do things the same way, and sheer will and um, operating with a lack of detail has gotten me down 100 pounds. But it's not gonna get me that last 20. It's been, like I said, once I get below 240, it's like impossible for me. And it's just letting me know that what I'm doing is not detailed enough, it's not organized enough, it's not well planned out enough. But I've lost the belief, and I've got to start working to get that back. I'm not going to set any goals. I'm going on a trip in a couple of weeks. My only goal is to get back onto my old routine, to start the conversation with a dietitian, and to start tracking my macros, which is a pain in the neck. Like it's not like I'm scared of doing this stuff. It's just very time consuming to log everything I eat in a calorie counter. But I've got to do these things. I can't do it just operating off the top of my head. It's just not going to work. It's just not. And I'm just going to keep getting frustrated, and I'm going to keep, trying to starve myself. And there are people who don't fast and eat a ton, but they're eating stuff like I'm thinking some of the trainers from that show, Fat to Fit the Fat, and they eat like this one guy's like he eats like every 2-3 hours all day, but when you see what he's eating like steamed vegetables and salmon. He doesn't have to fast because his diet is so lean. And he said he never has cheat meals. He never eats the junk that I eat. And if you eat like that, you don't have to fast. There are reasons I fast outside of just weight loss though. Disease prevention, specifically keeping my insulin levels low. So I want to continue that because that's about more than just weight loss. But I've got to get more organized. I've got to learn more. I haven't really learned a lot like the last 7-8 months. I don't remember the last time I read a book on nutrition. I reread The Obesity Code last summer, but I've read it like 3 or 4 times. Like I've got to take in more information. And so, kind of my takeaways are the next 2 weeks before my trip, let's just get back onto my regular routine. One meal a day, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, nothing but water. The next thing is I've got to kick my soda habit. Like I've got to. I stayed off diet soda for a year and a half. I recorded a video in spring of 2020, and I didn't have a diet soda until last fall. And it's like as soon as I had one, it's like my old addiction came back where I'm drinking it like it's water. And I don't know how I went a year and a half, and it's like now it's a struggle to go like 2-3 days without having one. So that's got to change. I've got to start logging everything I eat. Everything. These details, it's like I'm not scared of it. It's not like I'm scared I'm going to see something. The thing is, if I see how much I'm taking in, I'll make adjustments. The only thing I'm fearful of is just the commitment to it takes time to log every single thing you eat. But I've got to start doing that. So get back on my routine for the next 2 weeks. Call a dietitian tomorrow and start meeting weekly, bi-weekly, whatever I need to do. Start logging my calories. Kick the soda habit. And I want to commit to removing red meat from my diet. And I'm gonna start simple. I'm not gonna say, okay, I'm gonna do something to speed everything up, and I'm gonna have one meal a day for the next 2 weeks. I'm not gonna do anything like that. I have to stop. I've gotten to the point where I can't say no to junk, and I haven't been in this situation since 2019. I've had periods where a day or two, maybe a week at most, but I've always been able to pull myself back together. And the last 3 weeks, I have not. I started weighing myself every day, hoping that would help, and it hasn't. The last weigh-in I did was on Wednesday. I was 249, but I know I'm above that because yesterday I had a cheeseburger and fries, and I had like 4 or 5 sodas. And then today I had French toast with an omelet and home fries and a biscuit, and I had a bunch of soda. So I know I'm above 250. I don't know, am I 253? Am I 255? I don't know. But the main thing is to get back to the point where I can control my diet. And then I've got to make changes even with my existing diet. But I've effectively given up for the last 3 weeks. And this is where I'm going to stop the slide. I'm in a free fall right now. And another 2-3 weeks, I could be 260 something, and then my will is broken, and I'm just giving up altogether, and I'm not going to let that happen. So, wanted to record this, wanted to document this. This is the first time I've had a period like this since I started my channel 2 years ago, but this is where it ends. And I'm not saying that, I may be 255 right now. I'm not going to say I'm going to be 239 and I'm not going to say anything. All I'm going to say is I'm going to stop the free fall, and I'm going to stop giving in to the cravings, and I'm going to stop lying to myself and saying, okay, after I eat this, I'm back on it tomorrow. I'm going to stop all of that. And I'm making it public to put the pressure on myself to do so.